Darkness in space. Scientists battle for survival. Far out in the cosmic abyss, there was one abandoned space station that was abandoned back in 2035. No one knew why the station had been left unattended, and no one tried to restore it or send their employees there. But one day, in the year 2055, someone accidentally intercepted a signal whose source was the station. The signal was very weak, but scientists were able to trace it and find the station. They decided to send an expedition to find out what happened at the station and why it was abandoned. When the expedition arrived at the station, they found that something terrible had happened at the station. The station was empty, but all of its systems were on. There were red marks on the walls that looked like blood. All the rooms were upside down, and chairs and tables were scattered all over the station. The further the scientists explored the station, the scarier their discovery became. They discovered that there was something completely inhuman inside the station. There were symbols engraved on the walls that no one could read, and on the floor were the remains of those who had worked on the station. The scientists were horrified when they discovered that the unknown entity on the station was very close to coming out and could threaten the entire Earth. They tried to contact the rest of the science centers, but it turned out that the entire connected world was off. No one knew what was going on, and the scientists stayed on the station, trying to figure out what happened and how to stop the creature from being on the station. Every day there were more and more signs on the station that the creature was moving closer and closer to the exit. The scientists began to realize that they were alone on the station and that no one was coming to help. They remained on the station, fighting for their lives and trying to stop the unknown entity. They determined that the entity was of alien origin and possessed a high level of intelligence. It was capable of shape-shifting and penetrating people's bodies, making them do what it wanted. Scientists tried to develop methods to fight the creature, but it was too strong and quickly adapted to any new methods. At night on the station, it became especially frightening. Every rustle, every sound alarmed the scientists. They lived in constant fear for their lives, not knowing what would happen next. But even in such a situation, the scientists did not give up. They continued to fight, trying to find a way to stop the creature. One day, during another attack, the scientists discovered that the creature was vulnerable to sunlight. They decided to use it for their own purposes. The scientists developed a special weapon that emitted a strong light capable of destroying the creature. But to install it, they needed to get into the heart of the station, where the creature's lair was located. The scientists decided to take their chances and set out on the most dangerous mission of their lives. They made their way through the corridors, defending themselves against the creature, and finally reached the lair. They set up their weapons and began their final fight. The battle was bloody and terrible. The scientists fought for their lives, but finally they managed to win. The creature was destroyed, but the price of victory was very high. All the scientists who remained on the station died, but they managed to save Earth from the terrible space monster.